Hi, fellow Etsy seller. This is part 2 of a tutorial on calculated shipping. So if you missed part 1, check the link below and you can watch that first. So in part 1, we calculated a new profile, or created a new profile, and now I'm going to show you how to apply a profile to a listing. So if you go into your listings manager, you can either choose one of your listings, or I'm going to actually create a new pretend listing to apply this. I'm not going to do all this top part. I'm just going to go straight down to shipping. So if you're going to use a calculated shipping profile, you must put in your item's weight and size. Otherwise, it doesn't know what to calculate. So let's say my item weighs 3 ounces. And it's 6 inches long, 3 inches wide, and height. You want to think of this usually in terms of thickness. So the length and width, and then how thick it is. And let's say it's a 1/2 inch thick. And this would be once it's in the packaging that you're going to send it in. So if you have a gift box that you use, or a gift bag, or you wrap it some way, you want to make sure that the dimensions that you put in are with the item already wrapped. Once you have the dimensions in, you go down and you choose the shipping profile that you want to use. So I'll choose the sample that I created. Everything will pop up the way that you put it in when you created the shipping profile. So it has the zip code it's shipping from, the processing time, where you ship to, and your shipping options. As long as everything looks okay, you can click Publish. Now I'm going to log out of my shop and then pretend to purchase a couple of my items to show you what this looks like for the customer when he or she puts items into the shopping cart. So I will just purchase one of these. And wrist strap to go with it. The customer can check or click on Get Shipping Cost over here. Choose the country in which they live and put in their own zip code. I'll just put in my dad's. And then calculate it. And then in the drop-down menu, that person may choose first class mail or priority mail. And then at checkout, that amount will be charged to the person. Then you can see if you are going international, say I live in the Netherlands. Once again, I can choose first class international, or I can choose priority mail international. So it makes it really nice to keep the shipping costs more accurate and gives the customer some choices at checkout. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you may not want to have calculated shipping on all of the items in your shop. For example, the labels that I sell and the dividers by themselves, I don't use bubble mailers for those unless someone specifically requests that I'm actually able to send those in a stamped envelope. So I don't want calculated shipping to calculate it based on the weight and size, because it's going to charge the customer way too much. So I keep those as separate shipping profiles and just keep that in the item profile so that it calculates it differently, and it integrates fairly well with calculated shipping. You may find from time to time that the charge on the customer was not very accurate, and you might have to refund some overage, and you might need to adjust some of your measurements, like let's say your flat rate envelope was not programmed to be thick enough to accommodate enough thickness. But for the most part, the calculated shipping really does work quite well. As far as how the calculated shipping shows up on your end as a seller, when you go into your orders, you will see at the top of each order the shipping method that was chosen by the customer and the corresponding packaging. Now for priority mail, Etsy will choose the least expensive route for the packaging. So for the ones that I have programmed in, it's choosing the flat rate small box because based on the dimensions I provided, it knows it will fit in that. You don't have to ship it that way. The customer doesn't actually choose the packaging. You could ship it in a priority mail flat rate envelope or whatever, but that is up to you. But it has chosen the least expensive one, so just know that when you go to ship it, if you chose a different route of priority mail, you will pay a little bit more than what the customer was charged. I hope that helps you figure out calculated shipping. If you have any specific questions, please be sure to leave them in the comments. Thanks.